Screaming Frog, the amazing Screaming Frog. He is Lord of the SERPs. Follow me. So about a week ago, I went to this little conference called SearchLeeds, and the wonderful people from Systrix were there. This is Juan from Systrix, and the problem with Systrix is they're really kind, and they were giving basically unlimited beer, which was great until I had one too many, and I met this guy called Stephen Kenwright. Apparently he works for Branded Free, and he's running an event called SearchLeeds next week, and he said, would anybody like to talk, because we've had a guy drop out last minute. And after about 6 pints I said, you know what, yeah. So here I am, hi. I work for a small company called the Screaming Frog. We sell software you might have heard of. But I'm not going to talk about our tool today, and that's for a number of reasons. First of all, self-promotional talks are pretty dull, to be honest. I think we've got enough of that in the world. Secondly, first and foremost, Screaming Frog are in fact actually a consultancy agency. We deal with on-site clients and stuff like that, just like you guys. It's only when our tool became popular internally that we then decided to sell it to you guys. So first and foremost, we just do SEO, really. And thirdly, have you actually seen our tool? Could you imagine if I did the whole talk with this behind me? It kind of looks like Excel had a baby with Wikipedia. Like, what does this even mean? Why isn't that a pie chart? It's not as bad as it was though, because it used to be like light grey, and now it's light grey and dark grey. So we've kind of made progress there, but still. I'm not going to talk about that, because that would be pretty dull if that was behind me the whole time. What I am going to talk about today though is user testing. This is something we've really taken off recently in the office, and something we're really excited about. Nothing groundbreaking here, but I just want to talk about it because in terms of like how we deal with on-sites and stuff, I think getting an outsider perspective from beyond the SEO sphere, digital marketing sphere, is really important in terms of how we can provide the best value in terms of our on-sites. Especially in a world where you've got all these like unnamed quality updates and you don't really know what they're about. You want your site to be as quality as possible. And to get there, you need like an outsider's perspective to really improve that. So the only thing I really want you to take home from today is that as well as your own SEO technical opinion, you also need the opinion of people who don't really deal with on-sites and websites and stuff in order to provide the most value for your clients. So this next section is therefore called Why SEOs are Weirdos. And basically with this section we're going to go on a bit of a journey. We're going to explore why perhaps you guys aren't the best to think as real people, brilliant at on-sites, but perhaps from a user perspective, in an additional opinion. In order to do that, we're going to have to go to Middle Earth, which apparently is in New Zealand. So if you haven't seen Lord of the Rings, here's a brief synopsis. Walking, battle, walking, throw a trinket in a volcano at the end. Now my friend Caroline, who's also a colleague, she was traveling around the world and she went to New Zealand. And when you're there, you've got to visit Hobbiton apparently. And she was on the bus, and she was listening to the music, she was getting excited. Chat to people there. Here's Caroline with a photo taken outside of one of the little hobbit houses, really get immersed in the world and everything. But then crisis struck at the Green Dragon Inn, because it was at this moment that the barkeep turned around and said, has anyone here not seen the films? And it was at this point that Caroline put her hand up to the shock of everybody in the pub. They were just like, why are you here? So in educating Caroline, we made us sit through all the extended editions of the films. If you're interested, this takes 11 hours, 23 minutes and 59 seconds. And in the process of watching these films together, we sort of uncovered some truths about SEO and Lord of the Rings. And we discovered that SEO is just like Lord of the Rings. For example, you've got your technical wizards who just know things that nobody else knows. The creative team are dynamic and they're good at finding new ways of doing stuff. Bing and Yahoo serve as the comic relief to your reports. Google is hell-bent on world domination. The PPC people are there to facilitate that world domination. You've got Screaming Frog, which is a big scary spider, but if you have a phobia, don't worry, because other cloud-based solutions are available if you're in that atmosphere. And this inspired me to create some dumb Twitter account called Lord of the SERPs. And it looks like this, and basically every day, pretty much, I've been tweeting dumb stuff like this, like there will come a time when clients are ready for mobile-first indexing, but it is not this day. When your client updates their meta keywords, but not their page title. Ugh, I hate that. When your client moves domain without implementing any redirects. I'm sure we've all been there. When your client wants 50,000 unique product pages, it's not going to happen. My personal favourite, when a client claims they don't need a mobile-friendly site because they don't get any mobile traffic, but you know they don't get any mobile traffic because they don't have a mobile-friendly site, which is very frustrating really, isn't it? Now I thought I was incredibly sneaky, a bit like Batman perhaps. I don't follow my own Twitter account because I wanted to be entirely anonymous. But then we got into this situation where people are tweeting stuff like this, and it's kind of hard to remain incognito. Now, the whole point here really is with this Twitter account, talking about it, is that SEOs are weirdos if they respond to this kind of stuff right, they're not really normal people. So this Twitter account I would say has been wildly successful, and we're going to discuss how I've been wildly successful. And by that I mean I have about 600 followers. About 640 as of today, I think they tweeted me a few times. No links though, so arguably for SEO gains it was all for nothing. But you guys at the technical stage, so you don't really care about links, right? Hopefully. I'm followed by a bunch of known SEO celebrities you might have heard of, including Irish Wonder, she's quite famous. Stephen Kenwright follows me, so hopefully he knows what he got himself into by putting me on this stage. I'm followed by John Mueller. Now he doesn't follow a lot of SEO professionals, but he does follow my dumb meme account, so take what you will from that. Barry Adams said it was cool. And the best part about this account really is the number of DMs I get from like random bots that try and spam me. It's especially funny when they refer to my first name and the AI can't quite pick it out, so they just refer to me as Dear Lord, which is, you know, great, I guess. This person in particular sent me a massive essay about their outreach tool, and I just replied with like Gandalf politely nodding, and then they just came up with more spiel about their tool, and I was like, okay. Some people take it really seriously, and they get really involved in the comment section. This woman in particular got really, really fierce about mobile first indexing, just from a GIF from Aragorn, and I was like, right, okay. If you guys have any suggestions yourself, occasionally people tweet me and they CC Lord of the SERPs and then I retweet what they say. This one's about JavaScript. I have no idea what he's talking about, but I just retweeted it and now I look clever. So if you guys have got any complicated SEO Lord of the Rings problems, let me know and I'll share them. Now, I have to reflect on myself as well. I'm also a weirdo, so don't worry, and this is why I don't do my own user testing. I have to explain sort of the inspiration, the behind the scenes of how I came up with this brilliant idea of some stupid account on Twitter. Apart from we already mentioned Caroline, obviously, and correcting her education. Part of the problem we have is the geography of Screaming Frog. Now, for scale here, the big circle is London, and the little circle here is Henley-on-Thames, which is where Screaming Frog is based. Now, obviously in London, you've got stuff like double-decker transport, waxwork models of the Queen, and overpriced pints to keep you occupied, so you've got lots to do. And if some of you guys are from the local area, obviously up north you've got chips and gravy, which is great. And you guys have got reasonably priced pints, which is great. However, this is Henley-on-Thames where we're based, and all we've really got is ducks and London priced pints, with none of the other entertainment there. It's actually a lot worse for me personally, because I've pretty much lived my whole life in Henley. So here's a brief map for you guys. Screaming Frog's office is here. This is where I went to primary school. This is where I went to secondary school. And this is where I went to college. You can sort of see the evolution of the hair here. It goes from like okay to terrible. And I'm trying to address that, but you know, slow progress. The other area of inspiration was this SEOlife.com. I wish I knew who ran it, but basically it's a blog that posts SEO GIFs as well, which is quite funny. So like I said, the whole point of this really is to explain to you guys why SEOs are so different really from normal people, why you need to take a step back and let actual users test the websites as well as yourselves. And from that we can sort of dive into the data here in terms of my tweets and how people respond to them. So the first thing I did was do word cloud, because I'm doing a presentation and I thought, you know what, word clouds are a key part of presentations, everyone wants a word cloud. All this really told me was get client links from that, which again makes me wonder why I'm on the technical stage, but I don't know. Instead, you guys, just because it was technical stage, did a bit of maths. This is my incredibly scientific formula for the following graphs, and yeah, there are several graphs now to talk about. So from the data from my tweets and how people responded to them, I worked out that Aragorn is actually SEO's most favourite Lord of the Rings character. Now, would Aragorn make a good SEO? Potentially. He's good at stalking and tracking, we're good at finding journalists' contact details. He's good at coming up with stupid plans about Frodo, we're good at coming up with stupid plans about an algorithm, we don't really know where it is. No full fails, he can summon ghosts, and we can summon bot traffic instead. Now this graph is a bit more complicated, but I have been told that Branding 3 will be delivering all these slides on the website, so don't make any notes here, guys. But in terms of what I tweet about positively and negatively, we found out that generally people in the SEO sphere dislike clients, but really like conferences. Maybe that's because there are no clients out at conferences, I don't know. But that's something to think about. In terms of SEO's actual favorite conference, the ones I tweet about, it is actually SearchLeeds. Massively leading bright SEO there. I think that's just because northern people in general are a lot lovelier than southern people. That's the only conclusion I've come to there. In terms of technical tweets versus content tweets, my technical tweets get a lot more response than my content ones. This is probably because if you work in content, you probably want quality content, which is not something I'm clearly providing. And in terms of their favorite tool, I'm not saying I've tweeted about every cloud-based crawl software that's available on the market, but I do tweet about Screaming Frog quite a bit. And it turns out Screaming Frog is SEO's favorite tool from this incredibly scientific survey that I've done. So there you go. And I know this stuff is accurate in terms of representing the SEO industry because 83% of the people that follow me are interested in SEO, which makes you wonder, what are the other guys interested in? And I could only come to the conclusion they're interested in Orlando Bloom. But the point here I'm trying to make is that SEOs are weirdos and not really like normal people. You guys are weird, is my point. For example, I told this to my mother. I did this whole performance in front of my mother around Lord of the Rings and SEO and links and stuff, and she sort of just looked at me blankly like, that's nice, dear. And then she sort of went off and made a cup of tea, and I was just like, I hope the guys in the technical stage find this funny, Jesus. SEO is a weird place. I'm sure you guys are aware. You can get actual job titles looking for ninjas, which is really hard to explain to my dad, who's an accountant. There's a lot of existential dread we feel day to day, just trying to manipulate this AI algorithm that not even the people who made it understand. And if you think about it, you can probably guess where that will eventually lead. But for the meanwhile, before we get taken over by the machines, we're obsessed with lots of little weird niche stuff like followed links. I don't know if you guys have ever emailed a journalist and tried to get them to update a no-follow to a do-follow. It's an incredibly tedious process when they get like the web devs, and they get another agency, and they get the webmaster, whoever that is involved, and everybody's just like, what's going on? They don't really understand why we're trying to manipulate a search engine with their link, and they just don't get it. Users, to their credit, are weirdos too, and you only need to look at autocorrect to find that out. Why is £11 1T1? Because apparently I ate a big red candle is a popular one. I like to think of Jesus as a mischievous badger. I'd like to know the keyword volume on that. I'll look that up when I get back. But users also have great insight that we perhaps lack as people invested in the industry. For example, they're using perhaps more standard devices, they're using crappy laptops, they're using tablets, whereas we've got like the latest MacBooks and dual screen monitors and stuff. They lack all that. They just have like basic equipment, which changes the way they view our websites. They use unconventional software like Bing and Edge. God knows why, but they do. It's just a fault, I guess. They're good at looking at pain points in the customer process and going through the actual, thinking about how they would buy a product and why they're buying a product and what they want from the website. And it's also great for third-party feedback. If you've got a particularly bullshit client who's really passionate about their baby, their website, their design, they love it. If you go to them and say, it's not me that thinks this, it's the entire world that thinks your website's rubbish, then that gives you a bit more of a leg to stand on. It's now case study time, so I've rambled enough about my random Twitter account. I'll give you some actual stuff we've been doing as part of Screaming Frog's consultancy. So without further ado, here is one of our most glamorous, exciting, high-brand clients that you've all heard of. It's this light bulb website. And this is the state it was in when we first got it. As you can see, the pinnacle of graphic design here looks fabulous. This banner thing rotated, and it had stuff like this high-quality imagery with the sunflowers for some unknown reason. Around Christmas, they ran a special for this light that was only £40 and 16 pence. And that was apparently a special offer and a best deal. And then my personal favorite is this one, which I'm really glad I could share with you guys. So they're cut out paper people dancing around a light bulb in some kind of satanic ritual to sell light bulbs. I don't know why that was on there. Anyway, this is an example of their category page, which again looks a bit like Screaming Frog or Wikipedia in that it's got lots of just random colours and different stuff going on there, and nothing quite makes sense. And this is an example of the product pages. So really focus on the add to basket button and how like gross that looks. It's just horrible. And then the worst page they had was the basket page. This is what you're supposed to see when you're just trusting them with your credit card details. And they got stuff like 100% satisfaction guarantee, which obviously just isn't a thing. And it just looks horrible. Now, Google had picked up on this. So we took over the campaign sort of at the end there in sort of 2017-ish. And basically they've just been slipping massively. This is Systrix, by the way, great tool, in terms of their visibility. And our conclusion we came to after looking at was you'll need links. And we sat down and came up with loads of content. We were building great stuff for them for their blog. We built up their linking profile, and then still nobody was visiting the website. And we were like, what are we not seeing here? And then one day somebody turned around and said, have you thought that their website just looks terrible? And we went, good point. So in fixing that problem, we got a bunch of user testing done. We used a tool called usertesting.com. There's some others here if you want to use those. I haven't used them myself. But basically we got about 5 people to sit down with the website, answer a bunch of questions, and then go through a process we set them. And it would record their screen, and they'd give like audio feedback of them talking through their experience of the website. And from their feedback, we put together this massive document, handed it to the client, and then they made lots of changes and massively improved their website. Some of the user feedback we got was stuff like feels quite clunky, doesn't feel chic, which, yeah, I agree with them. All this crap at the top is horribly distracting. I suggest you perhaps read it before you send it to the client, make sure there's no swear words in it. This is just like unfiltered. And then my personal favorite is this one, where somebody just like looked at the homepage, paused, you can see the video, just like paused, and they just went, oh, yuck. Which I think encapsulates what we were thinking, but didn't quite have the balls to tell the client we were thinking. So this is the homepage before we made the changes. This is the homepage afterwards. Not a massive change, and still lots that can be improved there, but changed those banners, no more satanic light bulbs, made everything nice and flat, put the phone number at the top, made it nice and clear. This is the category page before, with all those like random colours in there. This is afterwards, again, just like flattened out, made it level, made it perhaps less exciting as a platform, but just made it a lot more usable, really. This is a product page before, just focus on that add to basket button there, and it's nice and flat, thank God for that. We had a bit more detail down here in terms of related products as well, just to make it look like a real website. This is the basket page with all that crap at the top, including 100% no quibble satisfaction guarantee malarkey. And then afterwards, again, he did include the no quibble stuff at the bottom, but it's a lot more subtle, and it's just not looking like they're trying to scam people out of money. Now, in terms of results, this is the e-commerce conversion rate from analytics. The work we did came in about here, and then pretty much, apart from a blip during Christmas, they've been consistently 50% up year on year in terms of e-commerce conversion rate. And that's just from like flattening things, making things a lot more crisp and clear and obvious, and getting rid of the satanic light bulb. And again, looking at their visibility now, sort of around that D mark there, they've started to slowly recover. It's not as quick as we'd like it, but we're getting there now. So starting to see Google take count of their new, more quality website as well. To leave you guys now, just have a quick fire round, and this is basically like random things that came up in user testing that I wouldn't put in an on-site, and I wouldn't think to myself, that's definitely an issue I need to fix. But this is just like weird stuff that users have come back with that I wouldn't have thought of, but actually, when you put them all together, it makes a big difference to the website. So for example, you got stuff like out-of-date social media icons. Facebook has existed for 14 years now, which means it's old enough to have its own Facebook account. And in that time, their branding has updated. So you need to make sure like your Twitter birds and everything at the bottom of your pages are up to date, so you look as modern as possible. Gradients, as I mentioned earlier, just look horrible, so just try and make everything as flat as possible. Aggressive SSL icons, it's great if you've got an SSL, they're great for security, but they don't fix everything in terms of security. But if you've got too many like throbbing padlocks, they just put people off, because nothing is realistically 100% secure. Crap stock photography is another pet peeve of mine. We actually had a client where they had their meet the team page, and I think they're a bunch of plumbers, but for some reason they looked like this absolutely fabulous white-teethed family where they were all grinning in this massive studio, just like having a great time. And if you're doing something personal like that, you want to make sure that this, the photography you use is personal as well. Stock photography does have purposes. If you're using it for memes, or if you're using it for landscapes and different stuff like that, it can be really effective, but generally you want to use it as little as possible and only use it for effect. Annoying animations is another pet peeve of mine. Can we do it? Should we do it? The answer is usually no. It just delays the amount of time it takes before the user gets the content. Color consistency is another big one. This is lingscars.com, and this is how it looks currently. And what Ling has basically done is they deliberately make it as obnoxious as possible. But I would generally advise against this tactic unless you're going all out, which they clearly have done. Especially with the noddy car there, that's really commitment to the branding. But if you're using colors, maybe keep it at 4 or 5 at most, so you make sure that your calls to action really stand out. Font consistency is another one. This is a relatively well laid out website, but at the same time they've got about 7 different fonts there. And this isn't necessarily a ranking signal, but it's something users pick up on and makes them just that little bit comfortable with your website. And that can be what takes a user from converting to not converting. It's little stuff like that. Aggressive calls to action kind of go without saying. It's different for every market. I think in America they like to be sold to a lot more than we do, but spamming people with stuff like this just puts them off really giving away their credit card details with you. Too little content goes without saying. Keyword stuffing is another one. This is my colleague Matt, and he found this in the footer of the website he was auditing. And basically they found every town in the country, and it took him 4 tweets to get this all out, but took every town in the country and put cheap kitchen for sale next to it. And users, if they find that kind of stuff, it's going to put them off because they can tell you're just trying to be spammy, and that won't encourage them to make money or spend money on your website. Consistent voice is another one. If you start in the third person, continue in it. If you start referring to yourself as I, you need to make sure who the user knows, who the audience is, so make sure that's leveled out. Lengthy forms is another one after GDPR, GDPR. Basically, you want to make them give away as little information as possible, because otherwise they'll be like, why do you need my middle name? Why do you need my phone number for this email sign? They'll start to question it. They'll put them off giving you money. Shipping and returns is a legal requirement for e-commerce websites, but it's also a great trust indicator to prove that you are actually a real business and not just a made-up one. So make sure that's as prominent as possible. VAT numbers is another thing that I never thought of, but user testing came back with. Massively, people were like, if this website doesn't look legit, I look for the VAT number, and that tells me they're actually a business. So nothing I would have ever thought of as an SEO, but from a user perspective, this kind of thing really matters to some people. So that's something to think about. Autoplay kind of goes without saying. When you click on a website and it starts blaring out music or the news or whatever, it's just horrible. Don't do that, please. And last one is broken checkout, and this is something in a case study where we'd optimize the crap out of it in terms of visibility and organic search, and we'd get people on the website, but the users came back and said, yeah, we tried to use the website, we couldn't actually buy from it, so maybe you should think about that. And we thought, I guess that is a problem for an e-commerce website, yeah, good point. But as SEOs, this is not something we really think about. We think, get people on the website and then job done, but from user testing, that's something else we found out. Just give you some conclusions now. Screaming Frog is named after a screaming frog. I missed that slide at the beginning, but basically it's named after a frog that screamed at a cat. User testing is great. Make sure you see Lord of the Rings before you go to New Zealand. SEOs are weird because they like Lord of the Rings memes. That was kind of the point, I guess. SEO's favorite tool is Screaming Frog by my scientific form that I did. This is the main point I want to make really. Users have insight that we lack from the cognitive bias of being in the industry. You can massively boost your conversion rate by following user testing, update social media icons, and please follow my Lord of the Rings Twitter account and let me know if you've got any problems. Tweet me and I'll retweet them. It'll be a laugh. Thank you very much for having me.